Hey, it's Patti Scharf, CPA and co-founder of Catching Clouds, the leader in e-commerce accounting. Today we're going to talk about the big news of the week, and that is that the U.S. Supreme Court made a ruling on the South Dakota versus Wayfair case. And this has huge ramifications for online sellers. And so I'm going to bring in my other co-founder of Catching Clouds, Scott Scharf, my husband also, and he lives and breathes sales tax, and he is going to give you the whole rundown on sales tax and what this ruling means for you.
Hi. As you've probably heard, because it's been in the news everywhere, Quill is dead. Supreme Court ruled that Quill no longer applies. So what does that mean? Well, it's now the wild, wild west of sales tax and what the states are going to be doing. This means that the states can come up with their own laws and rules on when businesses, both in their state and outside of their state, can't have to register and collect sales tax. Nexus and the rules on the books in the states now are whether you have physical Nexus, you're physically there, you have property, including your inventory, sales reps traveling there, or affiliates. And now the laws that they've added, that if they've set thresholds for economic nexus or notice and reporting laws, basically say if you have more than a certain amount of revenue or a certain number of transactions, then you have nexus in that state, and the state can expect you to register and collect sales tax in their state for all of the sales into that state. Now, one of the things you want to keep an eye on is the transaction limit, more than the dollar amount. You'll go, I was nowhere near $100,000 in that state. But if your average sale price is $25, then you only need to sell $5,000 in any of these states in a year in the previous 12 months to have exceeded the limit and had more than 200 transactions. So keep in mind that really it's that 200 transaction limit. Now, 25 states have these laws on the books now. The other states that don't have them will probably pass them quite quickly and look at getting a cut of all of these funds. Of those states, 12 of them have a transaction threshold, and 3 of them have a revenue threshold of $10,000. So of per year of income. Okay. When you see these thresholds, you want to read the details or talk to a consultant, because the laws may not have gone into effect yet. They may not apply to you specifically based on your products. There's a lot of nuances. Okay. Now, the interesting part about this is South Dakota. You basically need to be selling $1.8 million of total revenue to be able to have hit that threshold based on the population and how few people are in South Dakota. So they're one that started all of this, and you've got to be almost a $2 million business before you have enough sales volume to have more than 200 sales in South Dakota. So it's just one of those things. So these are the new rules that you have, Nexus. If you're an Amazon FBA seller, you have sales tax nexus in up to 26 states, wherever Amazon's storing your inventory. And then there are 11 of these new threshold nexus reporting states that aren't FBA states that you need to be aware of. So as an Amazon FBA seller, you might have to register and collect in 37 states, really close to the total of 45, to be fully compliant. Plus, really, any business over $20 million per year in revenue, you really exceed both the threshold in transactions and the revenue volume in almost all of the states, and that'll get you pretty close to 45 states. We really are heading to a world where we're collecting sales tax on all transactions everywhere. It's just a matter of how crazy the compliance is going to be. So how does that impact you? Take a look at your own numbers, download your sales, total up the number of sales for the last 12 months, and if you exceeded this transaction level, then you have to decide if you're going to register and collect in those states. What is it going to cost you? I don't know if you've added up the sales tax that you're already doing or you're not doing. In general, it's going to cost about $200 to get registered per state. between either your time and figuring out the details or outsourcing it, roughly paying $100 per registration, and then both any sign-up fees and state fees and other things, it's about $200 per state for a safe budget to get registered. Then a safe budgetary number, which you could realistically pay, is between $50 and $100 per state per month. Yes, $600 to $1,200 per year per state. That could mean between $27,000 and $54,000 a year if you're registered in all 54 states, or all 45 states that have sales tax. Sorry, too many states. Added up too many right there. So between outsourcing tools like TaxJar, Taxify, dealing with a SALT, sales and local tax expert, notices, fines, fees, late penalties, extra state fees that they don't tell you about until your second year, and all these other things, you want to be able to budget and know what the compliance is. And then you've got to decide if the cost of compliance and the risk of being audited, or the fines for not complying with these states, if that risk is worth it, up to you versus the cost. But it could be a significant percentage of your revenue and sales in that state, and all your margin on your sales in that state if you have low dollar volume and low margin products going into those states. So those are things you really need to consider. All right, so we know this is a lot. I'm sure you've seen articles on the news and blogs and other YouTube videos and everything else. What we're trying to do is help out. What we've done is the math for you. So if you click on the link below, we've generated a spreadsheet that calculates out, either based on transaction or revenue, based on the population, which we've seen over the last 7 years really does apply pretty close as a good initial indicator of how products are going to sell across the country, unless you know your products really only sell well into one state or the South or beach states or whatever else. So you have to look at your own data, but we've really done the math for you. So please look at the link, click the link down below, and we will share that spreadsheet with you. You can put your own numbers in and see how that adapts for you, and to save you the time of trying to figure out how all this comes together. Anyway, we wish you good luck. We look forward to seeing questions down below, and take care.
I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, comment, and share, and I'll catch you later.